It's Trump's first week, Ryan. Trump's first week. I think that's right.
You, zeitgeist week of Trump,
It's
David.
the first week of his third term. This is tremendous. I am.
Well, he'll get a fourth, David. Clearly,
He put in for that. We're
yeah.
a couple of things
People
we
are
need to.
losing their mind.
A couple of things we need to talk to. I don't like daytime studio. Look at the background. It's just illuminated with light. A couple of things we got to talk about. We have to talk about executive orders because that's really what he's done so far. And we have to talk about pardons. Between the pardons and the executive orders, we got plenty to talk about. I am excited to announce, and before we jump into this, Ryan, I'm so excited for two things. Before he took office, I was slightly nervous he would go back on this, and he did not. January 6th, all the people who suffered and were thrown in jail and taken away from their families for
Terrorist, David, clearly.
simply redressing government of the grievances, Ryan, which I believe is the First Amendment.
In there.
Full pardons, all of them. Full pardons. Some commuted sentences and whatever, but pardons. Let's just call it. It wasn't the case by case, and maybe if they were not only if they no, none of that. All of them, pardon. And then Ross Ulbricht too got a pardon. I thought there was a small part of me that thought he's not going to actually do this, and he did. Which brings up the question of, okay, how far do we take this? Are we going to go Snowden? Is Snowden finally going to get a pardon? Are we going to?
I'm right here. What are you talking about?
Julian Assange. You don't have your glasses on. You don't look like Snowden. Julian Assange.
That's the point, David. The point was to take the glasses off, get into the country, overthrow the government by getting Trump elected, and then get a pardon so I can live the rest of my life back in the country I love.
How was Moscow, Ryan?
It was really cold, but Buffalo's kind of close, so it's the same.
Before we get into anything else, Ryan, is there anything you'd like to say about Trump's?
It's zeitgeist. It's zeitgeist week, David. It's already begun. Somebody I've seen on the internet. It's all, people that are linked to people that that know people. Like I love clicking on somebody you barely know and reading their comment section on what other people leave them based on politics. It's fucking the greatest shit ever. And it was something about like the price of eggs have gone down like 3 cents, and the guy was like, "Well, just wait." And I'm just excited. I'm so excited. It's going to remind me of 2016 all over again. Just Twitter was on fire every day. Everybody was a political science expert, even though they didn't give a fuck about politics a day ago. Now that Trump's in office, everybody knows everything and has a historical reference, memory, and a perspective on the Constitution and Declaration of Independence that I've never heard from any of these people before. And believe it or not, David, there's presidents every day of this country. I've never heard people have so much to say about presidents before. Not a one.
I'm interested to see in how this goes, because the thing I was most excited for in the idea of a Trump presidency, a second Trump presidency, I was really excited to see if this was going to be just guns a-blazing, burn it to the ground. And I don't know if it's been that yet. But man, I'm so excited. I really thought those couple of pardons. I really didn't think he was going to do it, and then the fact that he actually came through is so huge. Some of these.
I also think the this presidency is better because he didn't win the second time in a row. Like I just think it just speaks so much more about go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? It's like he still won, and now is still going to go up there and swing the bat.
Well, he didn't give up, no. Which I thought was very Trump-like, right?
I mean, how many people would keep swinging? Seriously, like how many people? How much money? How much family humiliation? How many lawsuits?
Ryan, what do you think about this? Because I've been thinking this. If they let Trump just lose and then ride off into the sunset, and then they didn't attack him, like try to put him in jail and do all this shit, do you think he would have ran again? Is there a chance that like he almost had to do it because they just wouldn't let it go?
I think he actually thought that the apparatus stole the last election. I actually think that. Like, I think when he looked at the media, the way they were talking, there's no fucking way. That guy's a shit talker. You know what I mean? Like, and the main premise, this is something I realized yesterday, actually. The main premise on shit talking is to be at least equally as good as the other person. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like when you engage in that banter, your point is to at least be as good as them. So, and he's great. But when your message can't get out, or all these other things that, you know, we always see in the misrepresentation. I know we're going back nearly half a decade here, or a decade, but it's still like worth referencing because it's not there. There's no. I think that's what bit him, was that, like, you guys just straight up fucking lied. I watched you. I know myself. You know what I mean? Like, Trump knows he's a narcissistic prick. You don't think, dude? He knows it. He fucking knows it. You don't think that guy's taking a personality test? He's been divorced. You know, like, that guy knows who he is. And then you throw it in his face. Of course he knows has narcissistic personality traits. That's why he's a fucking president. You know, like, that's why he's a CEO.
So I guess
like, these people know this, and he's like, there's no fucking one. That guy, those people, Dave, you know, we've met them. They run on legacy. That guy will sell a hooker out and buy her entire family a house just to shut the fuck up one time, because it's based on the reputation and the legacy proceeding after the events that happened. You know, because these people can build everything up for 15 years and then one thing ruin it all. That's literally what canceling on the internet is. It's just a digital. It just happens on the internet because you prove it with their footprint. It doesn't happen like that in reality all the time.
So you think, regardless, he was going in?
Yeah, dude, you have to. Dude, I get mad when people lie about me. I have nothing.
What if
I have fucking nothing? I will burn everything to the ground to keep my reputation.
Right,
I've been lied to and misrepresented. Like,
not to play what ifs, but what if the election wasn't sketchy? Okay, what if it appeared as if he just legit lost? Do you think he then rides off into the sunset? Or do you think he's not going on? You think he's just going till I fucking win as many terms as I can win?
Yeah, and I think that guy will change the law if he can. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, and, you know, as somebody who's constitutional, you know, David, I would love to have that conversation. I would actually really love to entertain that conversation. But I think he'll try to change the amendment to get a third term just because he wants to. You know, and then I'm also seeing some of the things they're actually saying about that third term is because only Donald Trump can maintain the integrity of America and all this stuff. What if we're really at war? You know,
how do you feel about that? A third term?
FDR did it. And why did he do it?
Well, because he could. I mean, at the time he could.
He had to. He had to. He fucking had to. I don't necessarily agree with it or whatever. I know it was ceremonial. President Washington, fucking great. I love history, fucking great. But he had to. Like, I don't know if you want to change presidents during a world war, David. I don't know if that's a great idea. I don't know if you want Inauguration Day with nuclear warheads, David. I don't know if that's a good idea to do. I don't really think that'd be a good idea.
I get what you're saying. I'm personally a fan of the term limits, though. And I don't know if I love the idea, no matter how much I like the guy that's in. The whole point from the get-go was avoiding a king. And I know if he keeps getting democratically elected, then he's not a king. I get it. But I don't know if I love that.
Well, for the record, that amendment would be you can only do it if you didn't win consecutive terms. And then you can still only serve
3.
Yes. Like, and then the other part of the amendment was the last 4 president. Well, it doesn't matter because Carter died.
It's very specific to what he's living right now, though, which is
fucking funny. It's also funny. Yeah, we kind of also hear about how we need term limits on congressmen and House of Representative members, but you want to remove the only limit we have on elected positions, and it's at the top, and you want to change that one, but not put one for the other people. And we've heard for years that the way to fix corruption is to put term limits on these people, which I've always been. I'm not against term limits, but the psychology that you're going to stop corruption with limits on time is wrong. Corruption has no time limit, you know. But I know we're off in the weeds a little bit.
Well, yeah, it
would be fun.
It's a tricky topic. I understand.
Talk about.
I truly do understand both sides of that argument, and not to both sides of this thing, but I'm personally on board with term limits. But I don't think it's just a guaranteed fix to corruption, because corruption comes from it's a top-down approach, right? It comes from the top elites. So until the top elites are gone, what are you stopping?
Do you think he's trying to outlive them? And then do you think he's trying to set his kids up to just wipe those people off the board and take everything?
Well, he's got.
I mean, I'm going full conspiracy, and this isn't Trump
he's
or
got
anti-Trump.
Quite a family tree.
Yeah, I mean, that guy, Barron Trump is 18 years old, dude. That guy will live to like 300.
And quite frankly, Don Jr. is ready now.
Dude, Don Jr. would be great at something, I'm sure. Once again, you don't think these people know who they are? That's what I really wonder, like, especially now that he's kind of got access to Peterson. Not access, but you know what I mean? Peterson helped Trump get elected. Like, they've obviously had to have talked. The Daily Wire and Trump, they've had to have talked. They've had to have brushes. You know, Peterson interviewing Trump would be dope. But
I don't know about Trump and Shapiro. I don't know how they feel about each other. I think Shapiro begrudgingly pretends to like Trump.
Well,
I don't think he actually likes Trump. I think he pretends to like Trump because he knows if he doesn't, he's going to lose subscribers.
I think Ben Shapiro loves Trump because he wishes he could beat Trump. I think Ben Shapiro, if he wasn't fucking 5'5" and a dork, would beat Trump.
If nothing else,
honestly, his personality is very similar.
If nothing else, though, Trump is good to the Israelis.
I just seen a video of a guy at some meeting, David. It was dealing with all the people at the CDC in like all of the positions of Moderna and Pfizer that like reviewed the literature to say what could and couldn't be done when it came to the vaccine mandates and all that stuff. And the guy just listed all these people's names and was like, dual citizenship for Israel, Jew. And it was like it's everyone.
I like that Shapiro, funny little Jew.
Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire, dual citizenship, Israel, Jew, and he's just.
Trump was at a press conference or something, and it was like the CEO of like Bank of America or some shit. He asked him some question, and Trump at the very end of his question is like, "I really wish you'd let conservatives into your bank." Just like out of nowhere. And the CEO had nothing to say. He's like, yeah. We'll see you at a tennis match or whatever the fuck he said. Something about golf. I don't know. Fucking wild. This is like, that is the prime Trump that like out of nowhere he will hit you. The question had nothing to do with anything.
That's what I mean. This guy's just a shit talker. He knows that. Like, this is like he's a boxer. He's a fucking businessman boxer. And I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing because it's a very difficult person to do. This guy can't be easy to like go to dinner with. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not romanticizing time with this guy. If I were to go out in public with Trump, probably like, this guy is a fucking animal. It's driving me up a wall. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it seems. But dude, like, yeah, you're going all the way. I don't think he's stopping. And I love it. I love that when I woke up on Tuesday for Inauguration Day, this fucking guy, he signed 100 sheets of paper in one day. He was at like 7 events. I know it's Inauguration Day. Joe Biden could barely walk down the fucking stairs to leave the Capitol. And then I wake up the next morning, David, and you know what's happening? The lights are on in the White House at 7:37 in the morning. I'm fucking getting ready for work, and Trump is signing paperwork.
He's already ready to go. He's
fucking. I don't know if the guy slept or if he just did a rail off Melania, but Jesus Christ, dude. I really don't even care anymore. You know, this whole back to the Trump zeitgeist thing, quick, David. This whole notion of like people caught up and like, well, I don't know. You know, bread's only cheaper because Biden signed something. I don't even care anymore if the shit the guy does works. It just needs to happen. If it is a lie, make the lies as fast as possible. Watch everything fall the fuck apart. Because I'm sick of this slow burn. I'm sick of watching the bridge burn on the other side of the cavern and be like, oh, this is fine. I'm just going to keep walking. No, blow the bridge up. Just fucking blow it up so I can start over. I need to know. Just get it over with. Expedite the process. Sign fucking everything into law. Remove all the term limits. Blow the fucking country up. Just sink it. But we'll see. Because I don't believe that's happening. Because I know it's not.
As far as the eggs and the bread shit, I can't specifically point to something that Trump's done already that would make it
how much are Cheerios by you, David?
Except for the fact that everyone knows, and I mean everyone knows, and even people who don't want to admit they know, the second Trump hit office, and I'll even to some degree say most any Republican, the second that kind of ideology hits office, everyone knows it's go time. Free market, open her up, deregulate, drill baby drill, all this shit. We all know what's coming. So
dude, people want to have families and children and buy houses. And
JD Vance said, "I want everyone to have babies. Go have some babies."
Yes. When I was told by the other party that it's too expensive to have children and that people are a fucking cancer, JD Vance fucked a couch. He also fucked his wife and has 3 kids and lives in a great house now in DC and is going to take care of people, apparently. And you know what? This is the other thing, Dave. We said this in 16 that we're like not even Trump supporters or defenders. It's like, if the guy is a piece of shit, I want you to hate him too, because I'm going to hate him too. But we have not got that a single fucking time. We just always get told that, well, it's really not this way, Ryan. Once again, everybody becomes a political fucking expert all the time. All of a sudden, never read the Constitution, but now you know about the Constitution.
Did you see Melania at the inauguration?
Oh, I seen her with her Kung Lao hat on, dude. Holy hot first lady.
So
God bless Donald Trump, dude.
Eve
Supermodel wives.
She was like, what the fuck is she wearing? And I said, she's wearing the perfect thing. She's wearing exactly what a first lady should wear. It's a black dress. It's covering her up entirely. She's not there because of her. Nobody voted for her. I don't give a shit about her.
She's backdrop.
Sit next to the person who everyone voted for and shut up.
Be like, why do you look like a lamp? Because that's what you're supposed to be.
She was spot on. It was perfect. I don't need you there in some fancy red dress. Perfect. Nailed it.
Dave, did you tell her?
Covered. Quiet. Perfect.
Did you tell her that's what your body, my choice looks like?
Your body, my choice forever. Put this fucking... I want you to look like you're getting heroin out of fucking fields and just perfect.
She basically looked like a fitted Muslim garb in a dress, like give me a hot fucking cocktail dress. But
it was like Iran in like the 70s. You know what I mean? Like when their face could be shown. There is,
dude, the world is crazy.
I'm not gonna sit here.
So crazy.
I'm not gonna sit here and read through every single one of these for 3 hours. I'm not. But we're gonna stop at some of the more interesting ones because some of the shit is these are the executive orders that have happened just since he took office. Incredible.
It's been there for 4 days.
Memorandum for the Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Health and Human Services, blah 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 blah. Perfect. I don't care. Enforcing the Hyde Amendment. First 100 hours, the golden age. I love it. Fucking love it. Removing barriers to American leadership in AI. This one was slightly controversial for some reason. I don't know.
Anything with AI is going to be controversial, Dave.
But
the fucking Pentagon's a fax machine.
But wouldn't you rather we're involved?
You would think, David. Remember when they're like, what about the robots? And he's like, oh, we'll just build them here. They're like, oh my God, Trump said we'll just build the robots here that are going to replace us. Yeah. You fuck. They showed you in movies, you idiots. This is literally movies.
Slightly contrary to my talking point on TikTok. But the thing with TikTok, right, where I said everyone TikTok should be allowed to exist, and I don't care if the Chinese government has our information, because quite frankly, the United States government has our information. Neither of them should have our information. I get it. It's a little different with AI. I'd still rather our government has the lead and takes the reins on AI than like China or somebody along those lines. Because really, let's be honest, who else is going to take the lead on AI? It's going to be China.
I think the military should only operate AI, David, and not tell anybody about it.
The fact is we have to beat China at everything, and AI is something we're going to need to lean into.
Give it to BlackRock and just fucking be done with it. Just get it over with.
Presidential Council advisors on science and technology.
This right here, the JFK thing I told my mom about, and I said, because my mom hates Trump, which is fine. But I told her, I said, look, Mom, if there's actual shit in these documents, he's the greatest president ever. But you don't even have to lower gas a cent. The fact, if these documents are released without all the black bars on them, David, will make him one of the greatest presidents ever, bar none. Because this shit don't happen. It never happens. The only way you normally get this information is somebody breaks into the fucking White House in the middle of the night and steals the shit out of the fucking desk.
Does he have the ability? I know he can declassify classified documents, but if things are redacted or things are just certain things are blacked out, right? Can he just do a full fucking declass? Just say, fuck all your black bars. I don't care. It's all going out there. Is that a thing? Is that possible?
From my understanding, yes. That's why, they were saying before the election that a lot of the Trump lawsuits, the way they're just going to evaporate is because you actually can't go after a sitting president for anything. So, when he won, it basically just made every legal case null and void because he's in just this position. You know, I mean, in theory, yeah. I don't actually know. I'm sure somebody's written a fucking book about this because that's what it takes to just get some fucking information about the magic bullet, David, that just bounces around a car.
Yeah, we got a little time. What do you think we're gonna get anything out of the JFK document release? I
We
really
fucking
hope.
better. We fucking better. I
But
am.
do you
This is
think
what I'm
the
saying.
answer's there?
Yeah, that's why it's declassified. That's why it hasn't been declassified. Look, look. Here's the thing. These documents aren't going to be like, yes, at 3:37, the bullet went in the chamber and bounced. That's not what it's going to say. They're going to show you like a fucking gas receipt, right, from a government official that bought gas on the grassy knoll. You know, like there's going to be some stupid sheet of paper like that, and then it's going to plug into like the Zeppner film or some of the other, not conspiracies, but some of these, well, the people getting arrested on the train tracks at the time of the assassination. There's going to be some shit like that. And also the Martin Luther King thing, which isn't on here, but he also declassified that. That was found in the court of law that CIA killed Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That was proven in the court of law. Yeah, the declassification of these documents may show you, if they aren't fucking barred, will hopefully show us how they actually go through this shit. And then also, here's the other thing people aren't thinking. As great as these documents are, we lightly seen how the government works with January 6 people. But I'm going to tell you this right now. If these documents are released and you really get to see how the government works and all this, I really hope people are questioning what the fuck they're doing right now. Because we showed you the heart attack gun at the committee church hearings in 1978 and 1980, okay? And then that all piggybacks into this shit. That's how they're able to do these things. And that's how it takes. JFK was over 50 years ago, 70 years ago. Who cares? Who cares if it harms government information? Who cares if it hides all these intel things and all this stuff? All we hear every day is about our data and artificial intelligence and China and drones. What the fuck's it matter about a guy that's 85 years old and has to know information about JFK? That doesn't matter. They know it doesn't matter. If it's unbarred. But yeah, David, I think there's just gonna, it's there now. It may come out and paint that. That'd be cool, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. It's not easy to catch corruption. But I do believe that there will be something in there that it's going to be the smoking gun, and it's going to plug in all these other things to themselves, and it's going to be like the web of lies. It's going to be the center, and then from there you'll be like, well, if this system operates like that, what about this? You know, what I think Trump needs to do is go through banking next. I think we need a declassification of how banks loan money to people in the Fed and all that. I know they're talking about auditing and the audits with Doge and shit like that. I think until you get to go after the Fed and the bank, none of this shit actually manifests.
And see, this is the burn it down scenario, right? That everyone was hoping for with Trump. Like, could you imagine that he's already floating out, right? We have which I truly think this is going to happen, because why else would you create the External Revenue Service? But Trump is floating out getting rid of the income tax, which is fucking outstanding. If that were to happen, that is game changing at a level people do not understand.
That should be 100% that should be 100% accepted by everybody. And I don't want to hear about schools or roads. Seriously.
I don't think people
give me all my money back. It's not that fucking hard. I don't want to hear that we need schools, roads, and bridges when you have there's fucking departments of government institutions for all that.
People
my
know
income tax is a drop in the bucket to how much money they spend, David. I'm sorry.
People know that they get taxed, right? People understand that, okay? But I don't think people truly ever really look and do the math or look at their last pay stub or whatever, and just seriously go on your last pay stub of the year. Go and see what the federal government took. It's fucking astonishing. It is absolutely incredible. And I know 50% of people don't actually pay income tax because, surprise, you're going to get back more than you paid out. But for the other 50%, I'm telling you, oh my God, you have no idea. There's another salary in there. I promise you.
It's like I figured it out once. It's like a month a year. I work for free, 30 days.
You
like 30 days a year. I work literally full time plus what I think I average 50 hours a week for a month for free, 7 days a week, 30 days.
It's probably more than that, to be honest with you. If you were to sit down,
well, if you include other tax, that was just income tax, I think.
Yeah.
Like that isn't fucking tire tax and gas tax and fucking tax and bottle deposit tax and prepared food tax but we can't get rid of taxes. We need roads. I have holes in the roads.
What we need to do is force other people to raise their minimum wage, Ryan. That'll fix it. I don't know. How about you stop fucking taking all my money? Isn't that a good solution?
I think both. Honestly, it's both. It's really honestly, it's both. It fucking, I've seen the graphs. This is where like the left to me has some credibility when it comes to rich people. The fucking money that these companies have made has just gone off the charts, and our incomes have not gone up in the relevancy of how much money the company makes. I know it's globalization during that time, so it's a different story as well. It costs more money to run these things because they're more diverse and spread all over the place. But with that being said, I've always said we should all be rich here. So make your fucking citizens rich. And I don't want to force people, but it is both. We need to keep our money and lower taxes, and everybody needs to make more money. Now that's either you need to learn more shit to make more money, or your job needs to pay you more. And the way you get paid more is maybe knowing something more. But
that's right. I mean, you can't just expect it to happen though. Well, that's my thing. Like everyone here can go make more money, but it takes
takes fucking effort.
Your part. You have to do it. You can't just snap your fingers and hope it's better. The Emma, I just have it up here because it's like two of my favorite things from the Martin Luther King transcripts that I've seen so far, and I'm sure there's going to be such a document dump to go through. It's going to take months, years for us to fully understand what is being done here. This is from the declassification of Martin Luther King's. With the funds that he had received from the Ford Foundation, King held the first of two workshops in Miami, Florida in February 1968 to train Negro ministers in urban leadership. One Negro minister in attendance later expressed his disgust with the behind-the-scene drinking, fornication, and homosexuality that went on at the conference. Several Negroes and white prostitutes
Diddy party, David.
Were brought in from the Miami area. An all-night sex orgy was held with these prostitutes and some of the delegates in attendance. One room had a large table. It was filled with whiskey. The two Negro prostitutes were paid $50 to put on a sex show for the entertainment of the guests. A variety of sex acts deviating from the norm were observed. I mean, it's not. I don't think we should be surprised. Like this kind of shit's gonna happen, right? We're all people, right? But some of the shit is just fucking crazy. It was learned in February 1968 from a very responsible Los Angeles individual in position to know, familiar with the matter is what that sounds like to me, that King has been having an illicit affair with the wife of prominent Negro dentist. And apparently had an illegitimate son. None of that is actually proven, even in the declassified documents, though. Speaking of, did you see the thing about?
Hold on, dude, did you not know about Martin Luther King and prostitutes? Is this the first time you're hearing this?
Me?
Yeah.
No, it's the.
Okay.
Here's the thing. There's hearing about it, and then there's seeing it in official government writing that makes it just a little bit different. It's the same thing with the JFK thing. That Operation Northwoods came out, and a bunch of people I know who aren't super politically involved are like, "Oh my god, did you see about this?" And I'm like, "I've literally been talking about this for 10 years." Operation Northwoods. Did you know that JFK they were going to bomb they were going to blow up a plane? I know. We all know.
Definitely didn't fly planes in the World Trade Center, though.
It was definitely a conspiracy theory, though.
Yeah,
definitely.
Government would never do that. They would never spy on a president-elect, David.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's going to be Joe Rogan, man. I'll tell you.
It'll probably be at least 6 months before we really dig into these files and have any idea of what we truly see. But I have always been of the belief, always, meaning since I was able to think on my own. Obviously, in school, they tell you, hey, this guy definitely did it. It was definitely him. And you think that when you're in school. But if you're ever on your own and you start going down the path, in the very deep path of the JFK assassination, you immediately start thinking, that doesn't make any fucking sense. So I've always been
just
of the
magic bullet alone.
It let's be honest, it was the CIA.
It was aliens, David.
Yeah. Terrorist organization. Love it. Speaking of terrorist organizations, Ryan, I sent this to you. This was from the Department of Homeland Security. We put this on our Facebook as well. This is what they considered domestic extremism, domestic terrorism, extremism, whatever. Each of which is described as violent. Ready? Military veterans. That's how it starts. Military veterans.
Super polarizing.
Anti-war individuals.
So people that want peace is war, David. Peace is war.
Anti-war individuals and groups. We just talked about how pumped we are for removing the income tax. Tax resistance movement. Groups of individuals who vehemently believe taxes violate their constitutional rights and that the 16th Amendment to the Constitution, which allowed Congress to levy tax on an income, was not properly ratified.
True. It's true. It's fucking true.
Dead of night, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like 2 a.m. with like 3 people. They're like, yep, good enough.
Yep.
Militia. Yep.
For the record, David, I'll just say this. Andrew Jackson pulled a gun out and held it to a bank executive and pulled a fucking trigger, and he was going to shoot one of the Rothschilds dead in Congress. The only reason it didn't happen was because his gun didn't go off. That's a historical fact. They fucking knew then that a central bank would destroy this country. Thomas Jefferson was adamantly opposed to it, the founding liberal of this country. End it. Get rid of it. Taxes are theft. It's illegal. I don't want fucking roads operated by the government. It's not that hard. I don't want a school system operated by the government because they're not going to educate me to overthrow them. They tell you you're not allowed to own firearms, and it says shall not be infringed on the paperwork. But they didn't teach you cursive, so you can't even read the fucking words anymore. But blame Ronald Reagan. Oh, he ruined education. You all ruined education. You all ruined education. Sorry. The fucking central bank, the money and the banking and this taxing shit, it's got to end. It's getting out of hand.
Well, Ryan,
we have $2,000 fucking mortgages, mostly because the goddamn property tax is through the roof. That's why our house is so expensive. It's not that the value of the house did not change. It didn't change. 300 grand is still 100 grand in the 80s. That's why the inflation metric matters, right? The house actually didn't get any more value. It's still a house. We only equate it to money because that's the thing we use as value to hold things to fucking meaning. So the house doesn't change value. We just think it does because of the time we live. But the only reason that the value has to change or be exchanged is because these damn taxes. How the fuck am I ever going to get out of a system that is so big and so corrupt and so it has so much money? The same people that tell you to hate big corporations want big government. How does that make sense? Just get rid of this shit. And once again, if Trump is this bad, let it fucking burn then. What are you doing? You were ready to melt it down before. All the people, they were ready to melt the country down. Yep, I hope Trump's going to get us in World. You remember when they said Trump's going to get us in World War III? Fuck, we started podcasting right before the last election. We're a 2020 podcast in June, July. We literally documented it. And they said he's going to cause World War III.
And then
fucking
they
lies.
proceeded to cause World War III.
Fucking lies.
Hilarious.
Abraham Accords for the second time. Get fucked. I don't care if they're ceremonial. Let them blow each other up. Burn the fucking world down. You don't want nuclear warfare, Ryan. What am I pushing it away for? I'd rather I be blown up with an 8-year-old instead of an 18-year-old, David. Sign thousands of executive order, everything. It just get it done. I don't care if it's bad anymore. I really don't. The same people telling me that you don't want what's coming were the same people telling me to stay inside with a fucking mask on and bankrupted our economy. They don't feel sorry. We can't feel sorry. And believe it or not, David, 60% of this country wants this shit. So that's even all the more reason to just push forward.
Yeah, it's a democracy, everybody. What are we afraid of?
You know, and it's crazy. The people in the bluest states have the most disdain for this president and the presidency. What are you worried about? Oh, that's right. Because there's no blue states. They actually don't exist. It was a lie by your party. It was a lie by the opposition. I know it's one party, David, which is why they didn't want the guy in there.
The party.
I have never in my life seen a guy in 3 days sign thousands of pieces of paperwork to fucking dismantle the very system that he's part of. It's never been done. This shit has never been done in the history of humanity. And I'm told it's a bad thing.
That's the thing that's most fascinating, Ryan, because if everyone's running around calling him a fascist, I just couldn't imagine.
He gave us free speech back, David, on the fucking internet.
Well,
he's the fascist.
Hold on. I couldn't imagine a world where a fascist, let's say Hitler, destroyed his own government. What sense does that make?
The fire at the Reichstag, David.
Why would you, if you're a fascist and you need your government to be super powerful to wield its power as a weapon, why would you take away its power? It just doesn't make any logical sense. These people are idiots. They're doing it on purpose. They're lying to you. Let's just go on with the next one because Ryan, you're all fired up, and this isn't the next DHS. This is how they know you're a domestic terrorist. Ready? Alternative media. That's us.
Yeah, not that you consume it. Okay, it's not just that you listen. What do you think they're gonna do to the people that make it? I'm gonna have to crowdfund to buy a fucking sandwich. And then I'm going to be told I was the great. Well, you just shouldn't have said nothing. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm looking. You go look at your kid down the face. Like, oh, sorry, you're enslaved. I just didn't want to get a bad social credit score, honey. I wanted to have my credit score green, so I didn't say fuck the government. You know, and people are worried that Trump is going to weaponize this and it's going to be a Republican ploy to destroy the They're not the ones making re-education camps right now. It's true. It's true.
You know what's going to be interesting about social credit scores, Ryan?
Seeing mine.
It's almost always going to be the opposite of your actual credit score. Like people with good social credit will always have terrible credit. And good people with good credit will always have terrible social credit scores because it's just that kind of person. It's that nature. Opponents of open border policies, domestic terrorist. Just blanket. I love this. Single issue, domestic terrorist. Groups or individuals who focus on single issues,
domestic terrorists, David, but all I heard about was women's bodies this last election cycle. Are you saying that all the women that voted for a woman because of women are domestic terrorists because of extremists, Mr. Department of Homeland Security?
Well, it's fascinating you bring that up, Ryan, because in their description, groups or individuals who focus on single issues or causes such as animal rights, environmental, which
guns,
they got it in there, or anti-abortion, but not pro-abortion. Pro-abortion's not mentioned, which is interesting.
Well, it's women's health, David.
Patriot movement, a term used by right-wing extremists.
What about the Patriot Act, David? That was very patriotic.
And this is what they'll do about it, too. It's even in the same document. The DHS has established dozens of fusion centers in cities and states across the country to monitor domestic activity. Local, state, and federal agents from DHS, CIA, and DOJ share the information concerning the activities of citizens. I'm so glad we're going to ban TikTok, though, because God forbid the Chinese government has... you don't want the government to have any of your information.
I just told you that they're watching the citizens of this country.
Well, they're using fusion centers, right? To monitor. They're just monitoring.
American citizens.
Fusion centers.
To monitor the government has spent money to open centers with information and capabilities with technology and military information and equipment to monitor local American civilians that haven't broken any laws. And you think we live in a free country?
I'm curious about where these fusion centers are. Yeah, fusion centers. Activities monitored by fusion centers overlap with those stated in the DHS report lexicon above, and further include the following, which tend to vary from state to state. So there's even more. Frequent references to the Constitution. Domestic terrorist. Support of third-party candidates. Domestic terrorist.
What about interviewing third-party candidates, David? I wonder if that's on that list.
Domestic terrorist. Support for an audit of the Federal Reserve. Domestic terrorist.
I'm gonna get shot at a fucking Christmas party one of these days. Fucking
opposition to the carbon
Jew
tax.
laser.
Domestic terrorist.
David, I thought there was no carbon tax, David. Thought that wasn't going to be a thing.
Whoa,
we're not going to tax carbon.
Whoa, I didn't read the whole thing. Hold on. Opposition to a carbon tax to be paid to a World Bank.
So if I'm pro carbon tax, it just doesn't go to a bank. That's fine. But when it goes to the global bank, that's when I'm a terrorist. I thought there's no global bank, David. Thought there was no global banking system running governments, David.
Shit, they just like toss in there like it's nothing. We're just fusion centers. So we make sure that you're not a domestic terrorist because you don't want your money going to a global bank. Globalism was a conspiracy theory 10 years ago. We have a global tax, which in the executive orders we get rid of. We have a global tax. We have global banks. It was a conspiracy theory 10 years ago. Opposition to U.S. submissions to the United Nations and or World Health Organization, which Trump pulled out of. Fucking legend.
Ooh, that's a big one.
The FBI's InfraGard program, in addition to collecting the data internally, FBI agents work with the private sector with
private companies, David,
which report on citizens' suspicious activities.
Oh, like fucking Facebook? Nah, we didn't know he had a history of this. Oh, what about his manifesto that you read? You
one DHS document vindicates everything we've told everybody for however many years you want to say we've told everybody, because I know we've touched on some of these sporadically throughout the years. But they were all considered conspiracy theories. Oh, Facebook's not doing anything with your data. It's just for advertisers. Oh, really? Really? The government doesn't want any of that information, you don't think? Really? Yeah, but TikTok's got to be banned, though. God forbid China has your information.
Yeah, data's not important, David. It's not worth anything.
Fucking incredible. The U.S. Department of Defense's current training manual advises... I can't read the whole thing. There's something in the way. It's to be regarded... advises personnel that... Something about First Amendment. It's blocked by a fucking green pencil. It's regarded as low-level terrorism. Something about the free speech is low-level terrorism. That's about all I can get out of that.
Tom, we're legit terrorists, huh?
Oh, we're domestic terrorists. Like,
I think we hit like all of those actually. Like every one of those is.
You know, I'm half nervous. Eve wants to go like places, right? Places that require flying on planes. And I'm half nervous I'm not actually allowed to go on a plane. It's going to be really awkward when we go to buy tickets and they're like, yeah, no, not you.
Dave, you should try, because then we'll actually know like all this, like the funny jokes that we crack.
I'm like for sure gonna. I don't. They're not gonna let us go anywhere because we have pure blood, first of all.
Oh, we're unjabbed, David, is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Yo, you remember when you caught COVID? They're like, yeah, you got this variant.
It's probably Omicron. I think that's what's going around. Oh, good.
Fucking Megatron.
Right. You guys just tested me, right? Like, don't you know the exact thing I have? I think it's Omicron. Okay.
I'm sure it's got genomes from the virus 3 years ago.
What did you swab me for if you can't tell me anything? Just say I have the cold and tell me to shut up. Like, what was the point if you're just guessing anyway?
Money.
Keeping Americans safe in aviation.
Except for the drones.
Merit-based opportunity. Love it. Guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion. Restoring names that honor American greatness. Oh, there was one in here. I guess we'll get to it when we get to it. There was one about old architecture, and I sent that to you.
Yeah, beautiful buildings or something.
Defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. I fucking love it. He went in there just guns blazing.
We're going to have dicks on, guys. For the first time in 10 years.
All bathroom signs will have penises for men.
There will be
Holes
dicks
for
where
women.
dicks need to be, and there will be boobs where boobs need to be.
Establishing and implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency. Doge. I love it. America
The
First
world is a
policy.
fucking magazine, dude. I swear to you. Unleashing Alaska.
Protecting American people against invasion. Yeah, there it is. The Organization Cooperation Development Global Tax. So if you read this actual thing, it talks about how they have removed the Biden era global tax, which we told you about on this program, and that everyone told us we were conspiracy theorists. It was in the tax plan.
Well, in order to have world government, you have to fund it, David. Well, right here's the tax for
At
global
some
government.
point, is just calling somebody a conspiracy theorist lazy.
It's
Because,
brainwashing, David. Just
like literally, I said, "Hey, look at Biden's tax plan. Oh my God, they have a global tax rate. That's fucking crazy. That's literally globalism." And everyone said, "Oh, that's conspiracy theory." And I'm like, I'm on the .gov. Like, it's Biden's tax plan.
Yeah, they're like, "Where'd you get the information from?" Some follower on Instagram was like, "No, I literally make news, and here you go. Here's the .gov
What's your
document.
source? I don't know.
The government,
IRS.gov. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? My source,
dude. I got into it with a family member about like mental health something, and I was like, I'm gonna get him. So I went on and I found one of those NHL.government studies, and I spent like 20 minutes read some shit. And I was like, well, and she got all upset and was like, look, this is just what like the study says. Like, this is what your doctor. This is where your doctors get the information from. So I don't need to go talk to a doctor, asshole. Like, this is what your doctor reads is what I'm reading. I just don't know what it says all the time.
I don't know if you've ever catched. I don't know if you've ever caught anyone doing this before. Jesus Christ. Trump's president. No Department of Education.
Close it down. No tax. We don't have enough money.
In a news article, like call it CNN or whatever, will say, oh, like here's our argument and here's our source. And then you click the source. Now, I know we're talking about 0.01% of people actually do this. Most people only read the headline, let alone read the article to read the source. Like most people never get there. And then you click the source, and the source says nothing remotely what CNN is saying the source says. I don't know if you've ever caught that before. If you click enough sources, you'll catch over time that they're just putting sources in there that don't actually vindicate what they're saying.
Dave, remember that one time I caught him with the raccoon dog, and then all of their sources were linked back to Wikipedia?
Oh,
and the Wikipedia articles that they were referencing as a source in the news article
were
made that day.
Oh yeah, there was that
all of the sources.
I forgot about that one. I was thinking there was
that day about.
There was another one you did where somebody sourced Wiki, and Wiki sourced that same article that sourced Wiki. Like it was a circular. Oh, yep. Here's our source. Oh, our source. That's their source. Their source is our source. It was
the problem.
Wildest thing I've ever seen. But most people will not sit down, read the article, and figure that out. So they can sound high and mighty and sound smart because they're just making shit up. Of course,
especially with like brain rot now, like I've been catching myself, I'm not in the best space, but I've been catching myself losing like an hour on Instagram, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I actually have to say it out loud. Like, what am I doing here,
Reevaluating and realigning United States foreign aid. Love it. Temporary withdrawal of all areas on the outer continental shelf from offshore wind leasing, and review the federal government's leasing and permitting practices for wind projects. Fuck your windmills. This just says declaring a national emergency. I think it was for the southern border.
Promoting beautiful federal civic.
Oh, there it is. I love this.
Restoring the death penalty. I didn't know that was one.
Memorandum for the administration of the General Service. Promoting beautiful federal civic architecture. I hereby direct the administrator of the General Services Administration in consultation with the assistant to the president for domestic policy and the heads of the departments and the agencies.
Uplift the beauty and classical architectural heritage in order to uplift and beautify public spaces and ennoble the United States and our system of self-government. Such recommendations shall consider appropriate revisions of the guiding principles for federal architecture and procedures of incorporating community input into federal building design selection. Trump, actually, this was a few years ago when we talked about the ugly building thing, because Trump talked about on PBD, I think, the building he built on Pennsylvania Avenue. And he references guiding principles of federal architecture. That's basically like their fucking code book to build a building, I think.
Yeah, and I think this came up during the Rogan Trump podcast also. So this is obviously a thing that he's thought about for a while. I love this.
Well, he's in construction too. I mean, dude, it's kind of like cars. You know, like a lot of people that work on cars love cars. Well, the reason, and then you're like, oh, the color's cool, the body stuff. You know, I didn't really appreciate buildings till I started working on them, like doing electricity and like old history. I worked at OLV, which is Our Lady Victory. It's a over 100-year-old church. It is. I walked in the building and cried. It's so beautiful in there. It literally looks like shit in Rome, and it's just in our backyard, and people don't even know. It has a copper dome on it that's over 100 years old. It's fucking the place. It doesn't make sense how the air is a different quality. You know,
I truly need to go back as an adult. When I was 10, my dad won somehow. I think, funny enough, it was like selling tires for like Firestone or some shit. I don't know, but he won something, and he got a trip to Rome. Like, we went to Rome. Wow, so cool. Dude. And part of that was we went and we saw the Sistine Chapel, and it was fucking, like, even as a 10-year-old, it was fucking mind blowing. But I know now, like, I know this as a fact. If I were to go back in my current state of mind and I were to look at it, I would be fucking mystified at what I was looking at.
Dude, you'd probably be staring at it for like an hour. Just
so incredible, dude. It's the size and the just, oh my god.
Have I ever told the story about when I went to Hotel Lafayette downtown in Buffalo here? I was going to do electrician. It's one of the oldest buildings in Buffalo. It's huge. It's one of the skyscrapers. You know, it's not as big as Seneca One Tower, which is the M&T Bank building, which is the tallest building in Buffalo. It used to be Seneca One. But it's pretty tall, a lot. So I was going there to do electrical work, and I had to wait. And this building has been like upkeeped and all that shit, so it's historical. And I was sitting in the lobby, dude, and like there's huge like columns and pillars holding up inside the building to hold the ceiling up. You know, it's big common in old Buffalo buildings because they're over 100 years old. It's just how they built buildings, big pillars. But they're like the columns that like have the grooves or the channels in there and just maintained like that marble look and that classical antiquity look. I was looking up at the ceiling, you know, I wasn't on my phone. And dude, the ceiling was beautiful. You know, and I was like sitting there, I'm wondering, you know, this is over 100-year-old building, and I'm looking at it with a modern eye, right? And I naturally look up because I'm an electrician. It's kind of, you get used to looking at light bulbs. So like I'm very interested in how everything is in these buildings. But the point I'm saying is, I was sitting there wondering, I was like, why the hell is the roof of this building, like of all these floors, so nice in the main lobby? Like, why would you invest so much time in the ceiling of a place? And I realized it's basically like the equivalent of having stars inside a building. The point of it was so that you would have something to be in awe of. And Dave, kind of what you're describing, the vastness of it, even though this is not as great as the Sistine Chapel, like the inlays and all the craftsmanship was unbelievable. You know, considering when you walk into like a fucking Walmart, it's just industrial scene. It's not very inspirational, right? Which is the whole point of this architecture thing. Architecture matters. It's art. But I just reminded myself that, like, wow, man, like people really had like they built stuff because people thought about the outer world more, like this connection to the universe more, and God even. You know, it's really easy to just say God, but you could say source or universe if you're fucking new age candle burners. But yeah, it was just like everything had an element of a divine quality to it that can't be touched by men. That like, even if all of the men on the earth work together, the thing that we make of beauty still will not touch how great and beautiful the world is. Well, and it's just so dumb to like lose it and have to fight to get it back, because you would think with the way things look, people would just be self-evident. But I know it's the slow brainwash, right, David? It's the psyop, it's the New World Order corruption, so it's fine. But like people start going to old buildings and just fucking looking at, like, seriously, go there and don't do anything. Just go look at an old building and be like, why don't we make shit like this anymore?
Well, I truly think you touched on it in what you were saying, because a lot of the old architecture did have a lot of divine elements, and I think if you're going to if you're going to try to destroy a civilization, you have to remove God. I believe truly, and I'm saying that as somebody who's not even that religious.
Well, it's in the Marxist playbook, David. The family, religion, you have to destroy culture and history. You have to remove their monuments. Literally, this they have done this. It wasn't called Marxism in fucking ancient Egypt, ancient Egypt and Rome, but when Romans conquered people and those other, even in the Greek, they would take your monuments. That's why there's fucking obelisks in Rome that were from Egypt. That was like their deity. And those people of that time, if they didn't get their fucking relic back, if they didn't get that monolith back from Rome, that place would never be able to be the same, because to them, that was their culture. That was their omen. That's what held those people together, bonded them. And the problem with America is we're such a new country. We don't have thousands of years of heritage that will keep this thing together, like a Russia or a China or Europe. They have these structures that are old. So
that's kind of why I thought when Kevin was on and he was talking about the World's Fairs, that's kind of part of what I thought was interesting about it, because like the theory with the World's Fairs is that this place would come into town, they'd build this whole big beautiful city in like what was it, like months, and then destroy it. And it was so obvious that these buildings were not built in months. Like these were buildings that existed. Like the World's Fairs came in and destroyed old civilizations. That's what it seems like to me, just from what we were talking about.
Yeah, and they just gutted all the old marble and stuff. It's crazy.
I love this. Putting people over fish.
That isn't a real government. Oh my God.
Protecting the meaning and the value of American citizenship. I love it. Realigning the United States Refugee Admissions Program. I don't know what this says specifically. I haven't sat and read all these, but here's what I would say about refugees. If you're a man who's somewhere within the age of, I'm going to say
14.
Let's do 14. I was going to say 16, but I love it. If you're a man if you're 14 to 50,
yeah,
you better be fucking fighting. You don't get to, I'm a refugee. No, get your fucking ass over there and fucking go defend your country. Get fucked.
No, you're not a refugee. You're a soldier. Goodbye. Like it's called the draft.
Yes.
You're drafted.
Women and children, they should go to a neighboring safe country. Neighboring safe, not the United States.
Well, we're from Panama, David. It's the closest neighboring country.
Syria's in the middle of civil war. We better take their women and children. I don't know. Why don't they go somewhere close? Fucking crazy. Oh, can I get some help here? My country's getting attacked. You're a 30-year-old male. Go fucking find a gun and fight. Crazy. Unleashing American energy. Love it. Clarifying the military's role in protecting the territorial integrity of the United States. Love it. Protect our borders. That's literally what the military is for. America first trade policy.
What do you mean, David? It's not to spy on your own citizens and make a list of people that you don't trust and consider terrorists because they have disdain for the very system that's so corrupt that we can watch our civil liberties be eroded. And then when I say, hey, in this piece of paper that you swore up to uphold, so help me God, give me death, you're not upholding it. And then you tell me, shut the fuck up. We're going to put you in Guantanamo Bay so you never see a lawyer because you're a terrorist.
But then Trump's fascist.
Trump's a fascist.
Trump's a fascist, though.
Dude, I heard the interview with one of those Jan 6 guys. They put him in this type of handcuffs for like 36 hours. They're only supposed to do it for like 4 hours. Solitary confinement. Dude, just...
Yes.
And all he did, there is rapists and murderers and people have burned people alive and filleted their skin and fucked kids, the whole nine. Shot up. We don't do this to school shooters, David. We don't do this to people that shoot kids at school with the AR-15.
I know what you're referencing, and as bad as it is, the guy you're referencing wasn't even there.
I didn't even know that.
It was the head of the Proud Boys.
Didn't even
Enrico Tarrio or whatever.
Yeah, he showed too. It looked terrifying. I'm fucked. I'm so fucked if I have to get sucked out there.
He quite literally was not there.
Terrorist. Doesn't matter if you're there, David.
Well, we're all terrorists at this point. I mean, fuck.
Yeah, fuck these people.
Oh, you made reference to the Constitution. How many references to the Constitution do we make on a regular basis? Every day, multiple times a day?
For the record, Dave and I have had a joke for years and years when we used to even work together. We'd be like, all right, you terrorist. And then we'd go off to work. And it would just like casually get passed around as a joke. And
speaking of where we used to work, if you were bored and you want to drive by, if you haven't already seen it, did you see the Corvette they did? The snow Corvette in front of the classic car showroom?
No.
With the Bills logo?
No.
Oh my God. I just saw a picture of it, obviously, but
I should roll up there.
You should check that out.
I was going to go hit them up for a classic car salesman again, David. I'm fucking telling you, dude.
Memorandum to resolve a backlog of security clearances. Declaring a national emergency at the southern border. That's like 5 times. I love it. Holding former government officials accountable for election interference and improper disclosures of sensitive governmental information. Love it. Restoring accountability to policy influencing positions within the federal workforce. Withdrawing the United States from the World Health Organization. I'm so excited. Get fucked. YouTube, I don't want to fucking see it with bird flu. You better not pull our content and say, oh, the WHO says we don't care about the WHO. U.S. government just withdrew. Don't give a shit what the WHO has to say.
For the record, you didn't care either, YouTube, because you're a private company, I thought.
Yeah, YouTube.
Fucking pricks. I'm going to take that building apart by hand. I swear.
We're just a private platform. Oh, really? How come you're referencing the World Health Organization for polling my video? It doesn't say the CEO of YouTube says. It doesn't say our policy states. It says, oh, the WHO doesn't like it. I don't give a fuck what the WHO likes. You know what? Pull out of NATO, pull out the United Nations while you're at it. Fuck all of them. Application of Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act to TikTok. Granting pardons and communication sentences for the Jan 6ers. J6ers love it. Putting America first in international environmental agreements. Pulled out of the climate accords twice. Fucking love it.
Delivering emergency relief of cost of living crisis.
I wonder what that means. What does that mean?
Well, it means it's too expensive to live, Dave.
Yeah, but what does this like specifically do? Over the past 4 years, the Biden administration
on plentiful and reliable energy, unnecessary regulation, demands drive up cost transportation, manufacturing additional unlawful regulation mandate on companies to.
It's very in some,
person imposes $50,000 cost on the average American. Wow, dude,
that can't even be a real number.
Wow, I'd believe it though. I'd almost believe it.
50,000. That's like most people's salaries. Isn't the average salary in the United States like 60 grand or something?
Not even $52,000 a year. Is that what the average American?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it might be 54 grand, but I'm pretty sure when I look, the average 50-year-old man in America, which is when men mostly make the most money in their life, is between the age of 47 and 55.
God
the
damn,
average, the average American man makes $52,000, I believe. It's 52 to 54 or 56. And I only say men because men on average make more money than women, David, clearly, because we are better workers. It's not that we work more dangerous jobs and work longer or travel long for jobs or change jobs more or take on harder jobs or have a dangerous job or...
I see everything from 53,490 to 66.
Yeah, the average person is not making 66 grand a year. There's no fucking way the average person's making 66 grand a year.
No, it's like all over the place though.
Type in the median household income in America. Just type that in.
Well, household income includes.
I understand, but it's a fucking starting point. I mean, it puts the $50,000 more in perspective because if everything costs 50 more grand, then
80,610
for the average family median.
That was from 23, which was a 4% increase from 22.
The average family makes 80 grand in America. The median.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not average. That's the median. The middle is 80.
Right. Right. Yeah. Averages take them all and then divide it by that number. Median's literally the middle.
The 50%, yeah.
Crazy.
Or, 80 grand as a family is the median. So that's you and your wife both making $40,000 a year, which is you and your wife both working full time 40 hours at $20 an hour.
Yeah, that's fucking low, dude. That's not enough. Get your money up, everybody.
I can almost do that alone.
I say this as a man who lives in my mom's basement. That's a joke. Fucking one of our faithful Facebook followers.
I love that guy. I really love that guy. Every time I get on there, I see this big ass message. I'm like, you're such an idiot, dude. I don't give a even if I am in my mom's basement, you could still get fucked. You're like, I don't care.
I suspect most of these are very general because like any act has to actually go through Congress and get signed. But it says, I hereby order the heads of all executive departments and agencies to deliver emergency price relief consistent with applicable law. So basically, all the heads should do everything within their power to lower the prices.
So we're the opposite of price gouging.
Yeah. Hiring freeze.
Well, David, now that I say that, it's funny because the way that parties handle things, because the Democrats were like, well, we're just going to put price locks in place so that the price can't go up anymore. And then their answer is we're going to remove things to make the price go down more naturally. So I think that's always worth referencing because I think the ideology and philosophy behind the groups that we're really seeing is that very same premise, David. Some people actually believe that without a system, it wouldn't happen naturally. So to return to work in person is great.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. Regulatory freeze. Ending the weaponization of the federal government. Love it.
Oh, David, so we're admitting that the federal government is a branch of the military now. Is that what we're saying?
Restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship. Love that.
We won. We made it. I texted Dave when he sent me that. Stood by us, Dave and I together. Appreciate all of our followers as well. We literally fought global tyranny on the internet. This is not hyperbole. We literally were censored. We were targeted. We were attacked. I'm sure other things in our life happen that we can't make sense of because ChatGPT is too smart for me, David. I'm scared. But no, Dave and I fought global government. So everybody, you're welcome. You're welcome. I don't want to meddle. I just don't want to be told that I'm wrong anymore. Okay. I don't want people to act like I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sick and fucking tired of people telling me that have never read the Constitution, what the Constitution says. I'm tired of people trying to give me a civics lessons when Dave and I literally fought for your civics and we won. We beat them. We got the guy elected that changed it.
I'm curious too.
And I don't want an apology. Honestly, at this point, I don't want an apology. The only apology I want, no, fuck them. The apology I want is for you to change your life and be an American and be a patriot and stand by and make sure that this shit never happens again. Because if you don't, you're not actually sorry. If you don't change your behavior, you're not actually sorry. A guy went to jail. A Proud Leaders boy went to jail and had shit done to him that they don't even do child rapists. But you're going to tell me about shit. They're out here labeling me and David terrorists, and I'm not going to be able to withdraw money out my bank account. And you're going to say, good, you shouldn't say something. No, it's not good enough anymore. Because you know what? If I can't go get money on my bank account, I'm going to go to your liberal house and get your money out of your bank account. I'm going to steal the bread. I'm going to go into the bank and get my money out. This isn't extremism. This is, you're taking things and hammering people so flat, and we've had a fuck enough. And Dave and I beat global tyranny along with everybody else. Joe Rogan, sure, carrying the torch. But all these podcasts matter. To all those people that said Rumble don't fucking matter. I see Tim Pool over there now. I see David Rubin over there now. I see Ben Shapiro over there now. I see PBD over there now.
Well, here, okay.
Steven Crowder and us, dude. We were it. Steven Crowder and us.
Here's what's interesting about that, right? What were we told about Rumble? It was just a small minority. Oh,
it's going to flake away and burn away. It's for the extremists.
It's a bunch of Russian.
When you're kicked off YouTube.
It's all the, yeah, right. How influential was Rumble in this election? This election doesn't happen without Rumble. There's not a doubt in my mind. If it was old school, the way things were, Twitter was Twitter, Jack fucking Dorsey or whatever the fucking Dorky, whatever the fuck his name is. If it was just Twitter's Twitter and it was old Mark Zuckerberg being a fucking old Mark Zuckerberg and it's fucking the media's the media and YouTube's just taking everybody away because the WHO says so, that election doesn't happen the way this just happened. It doesn't.
Dave, you shared that statistic with me behind the scenes, I think, but you got it off the internet and it showed all of the social media platforms and how much percentage of its following goes to that media outlet to get information or entertainment or news or what it is. And I think it was, I almost want to say it was upwards towards 60 or 70% of the Rumble users go to Rumble for news.
Rumble was second to TikTok, and I think TikTok only won on sheer volume. I mean, TikTok has billions
TikTok,
of users.
yes, but it's also because of the creative. Like literally what you've seen is the algorithm. I don't think Rumble has an algorithm, and that's its problem. You know, like, hold on, let me rephrase that. Not in the controlling sense, but like YouTube's double-edged sword is that their algorithm is so good that they can control you. But that's what makes YouTube awesome is they have an algorithm that can just keep feeding you everything you'll ever want. You know what I mean? Like the system actually it promoted itself to make the thing to control you. Like I've always said this, but it just naturally happened. You're like, I'm not mad at YouTube. Now, granted, I do know that they make these systems to control in China, which we've always said. And then we say, you got to be careful of this because they're going to implement this in America, which we've seen in the election, which is why we still talk about it, which is why I'm taking the time now. Because in reality, those algorithms are fucking awesome because they fucking work. I just don't think Rumble has an algorithm yet, which is why it's behind in the scheme of this shit. But most of the people going there are getting their information there because since there isn't that algorithm, there isn't that control. And I think the same thing happens in TikTok. Because to me, at least to me, what it seems to me in comparison, I don't know this. TikTok is like shooting paintballs at a spinning canvas. Okay? And everybody's just shooting paintballs. And the paintballs you see are the posts. And the posts that you're going to see first are on top of all the other posts, right? That's what your For You page is. That's why there's trillions of things on there. And you just, as you're scrolling, all your other little hashtags all tie into that For You page. But just like a bunch of paintballs. I think these other sites are like throwing a water balloon at a giant ass wall and then you try to find them. Right? Like that, I think we're seeing that. And that's what some of this, I wouldn't be surprised if TikTok does get a control algorithm. I know people have said this isn't exclusive to me or whatever, but and it's not because the government's getting involved. I just think it's going to have to naturally happen because there's too much information for it to not have a structure. Like Jordan Peterson always talks about how artificial intelligence won't really they're not going to get consciousness now because they think that you can input things to create consciousness when that's not how it works. Like consciousness exists. Like it's a thing outside of itself. So that's why you need an algorithm. That's why we need consciousness is to understand reality. And I know I've jumped a lot of things together here, but it's just very fascinating, David, that we fought global government when literally they spent trillions. This was the largest psychological mind control operation ever bestowed on the history of all of humanity in volume, in scale, in size, in aiming. And this is the equivalent if Hitler had fucking a smartphone. They did it. We beat them. And you people got to do better. The people that didn't believe, the other side, there should be a time of healing and coming together and realizing how fucked everything was. And honestly, this is the problem. Dave and I shouldn't have to be the ones fighting global fucking government. I will. I will. But I got a day job. I have people to help. You know, I got shit to do. I can't keep coming on here every Sunday being like, fuck the government silencing my free speech. Oh, it's a free platform. It's a private. No, it's not. Here's the 700 episode fucking link that it's not. But nobody cared. And we're like, well, I can't stop now. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody knows, David, that YouTube is not a private company, right? Nobody knows. Nobody's seen the fucking document cams.
It's still
we keep showing you guys are conspiracy. And then I show you the document cam that says that terrorism is being a conspiracy theorist. So why the fuck do you think they don't promote me in the very algorithm? And now here we are. Dave and I won. We won. Information won. InfoWar won. Alex won. Joe Rogan helped us. Like, let's fucking use it. It's exciting. I never thought this day would come. Seriously. I've been in this a long time. I was told I was crazy for a long time. Literally fought global apparatus designed with global taxes to make me a slave, and we beat them. Fucking unbelievable. God is good.
Trump is going to move. Remember those 88,000 IRS agents that were hired by Biden? He's going to move them to the border or fire them. Amazing.
Dude, they really didn't think he'd win. They really didn't think he'd win. I love it. Dude, what would Tate do to England if this is what Trump's doing to America? You know what I mean?
Oh my god, he'd be way harder than this.
My god,
he'd be a lot closer to like what we would do if we.
He'd like legalize the N-word. You know, like just it would just be nuts.
I'm just seeing if there's anything breaking right now. That's
I need
nothing that I can see. Nothing that I can see. Women, stop getting tattoos on your face. Yeah, I don't see anything else breaking at the moment. But Ryan left. Ryan left us. He is gone. I don't know. I don't know what everyone else thinks about Trump's first week and a half, whatever this has been. Week. Less than a week. Monday. I don't know what everyone thinks about the first 6 days, let's call it, of Trump's presidency, but it's trending towards the burn it down model that I was really hopeful for, and I'm loving every minute of it. I can't wait to see if he continues, if it goes a little bit stronger than this. They started deportations. It's kind of everything I expected, but I just don't know if it's is it possible that he can continue this for 4 years, because he's coming in absolutely blazing. So to do this for 4 years more, I just wonder if it's going to plateau at a certain point during the year and then just kind of steady off. But I don't know. What do you do? Can you just continue this trajectory upward and just fucking keep absolutely steamrolling everybody in your path? I'd love to see it.
But you have to.
I'd love to see it.
You have to. I mean, it's the only way to break it, right? Is to just keep fucking swinging the stick.
But here's the problem. You can only do so much as one guy. So, like, here's part of what's an issue. You really got 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, because they have House, Senate majorities right now. Senate majority is, who knows if you can consider that a majority, because with this
51,
what's his name, Pete Hedges or whatever, that ended up 50-50 because Mitch McConnell fucking flipped. He doesn't even know where the fuck he is right now. He's literally the Republican Party Biden.
Guy should get dragged out and beaten in the street for being a fucking scumbag and selling out his country. And go fuck yourself, Department of Homeland Security. He agreed to uphold the Constitution under perjury and death. So fuck that guy. Democrats would be for that as well.
Did you see?
So fuck them.
I don't know how much I believe in this, but did you see the conspiracy theory, I guess you can call it? Barack Obama and Jennifer Aniston affair. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I don't think Jen Aniston likes black guys, David.
I don't think Barack likes women. I don't. I don't know if I.
So the news headline should read: Jen Aniston has a dick. Is that what this should say, Dave?
I hope not.
Fuck it, dude.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Got nothing else, Ryan.
I'm still waiting for all the. Where's the Epstein list? You know.
Ooh, that's gonna be. Here's the problem. This is where it gets problematic. If Trump doesn't release this Epstein list, does that make him look a little guilty? I mean, pictures are just pictures. When you're famous, you're going to be in the room with some people that aren't good people. I get it. There's a lot of people who took pictures with Diddy too.
Dude, I wonder if Trump's trying to count in his head, be like, did I fuck a 15-year-old that time? God,
she really looked 18.
She showed me a driver's license. Dude, you're on an island. She said
she was legal. It's like, oh, fuck.
I had her sign an NDA. Like, that's not how this works.
Trump, dude, I don't think you can do that. I'm just saying.
She signed an NDA, dude. She's still not 18.
Does he look a little guilty if he doesn't release that? Because
he does.
Because like the only reason he wouldn't is he doesn't Either the list doesn't actually exist or he's on it.
He's in his head. He fucking.
Or other people
familiar with the matter, Dave.
I don't know. I just think it looks a little sus.
The headline will read, people familiar with the NDA close to Trump said that.
Stephen Hawking was there.
She said she was 18. It's so funny, dude. Not it's funny if it happens, obviously, but like playing this character of Trump, waiting to sign this paperwork, and he's in the middle of signing it. I'm gonna release all the Epstein documents. Start like, signing it.
Not all of them. Stops mid-signature. Ran out of ink.
Give this pen to RFK.
I don't know. The Epstein
Elon
thing,
will be very happy. I'm ending transgender reassignment surgeries.
All the Epstein docs. That would be interesting to see. I'm sick of hearing this flight list that nobody can see. I want to actually see it. There has to actually be a flight log. It's been referenced so many times. Let me see the fucking log.
Well, I'm sure, David, if they found a wallet through a plane crash, they can find a piece of paper about who was on the plane.
Yeah, it burned. Burned in the plane crash.
It was crazy. Melt steel beams. It destroyed a 200-foot building. But the dude's leather wallet was at the bottom of it in a pile of smelting garbage. Dude, we ate that up too. We're like, yeah, they found his ID.
Fucking license was laying on the street. Goddamn.
Like, yeah, just melted the steel, but the leather wallet was fine. We ate that up, and at the same time, they're like, check your mailbox for anthrax. We're like, oh my god, West Nile virus and tires. You got to flip your tires, David. All the water in the fucking tires hit mosquitoes. We ate up that wallet story. Oh my god.
It's so crazy that we're domestic terrorists.
No, it's not. I fucking love it.
It really is.
I love this shit, David.
You know, I never thought growing up, like, I remember being shown, like, literally, like, when it was happening in middle school, they were like, oh, check out this building. It just got hit by 2 planes. And we're like, what the fuck? We're kids.
Yeah, not traumatizing at all.
I did always find that very awkward. Like, oh, everybody should watch this. It's like, oh, why should we watch this?
Like, why is cops on at midnight? Because all the kids are asleep, so they don't see the R-rated shit. Hey, I'm gonna put on this video real quick. Jamie, pull up that video of the planes flying into the buildings.
But truly, growing up, like learning around all that terrorism, right? Growing up, if you were to tell middle school me that I was a domestic terrorist as an adult, that'd be crazy. You know, terrorism feels a lot different.
You're eating your Fruity Pebbles and just watching.
Jesus Christ.
No wonder dudes cut their dicks off. You traumatized us as children. All these guys, they don't know what it's like to be a man. I watched a plane fly into a building and murder people because of my freedom.
You're younger than me. Were you in elementary school when that happened?
5th grade, dude. Just started middle school.
Was 5th grade middle school for you?
Yeah, it is now at this school now. They go K through 5 now in elementary.
That's how my school was when I was growing up.
You know, I never thought, David, I never realized why, but then I realized after I had a kid. You know, around that 5th and 6th grade, David, is the puberty, and I got to level with you. I went to a dance with.
Is that why they changed the?
Well, I'm going to tell you. When I went to the dance, David, there was some girls there, and I was like, "You look a little old to be going to elementary school." And that was before I knew 5th grade was an elementary school. And then I got in the car and I was talking to my daughter. I was like, "Why is there older?" And you know, she's like, "Oh, they're 5th graders or something." And I'm like, "Because when I went to the school, it was 4th grade, and then 5th grade, you went to middle school." I was like, "Why would they do that?" But then I realized, David, it's probably better to have a little bit older girls around younger girls that way than having the younger girls around the older girls the other way. Because I know what I was doing in 8th grade, if you know what I mean, David. And I don't know. I don't know. I know what my friends and I were doing in 8th and 9th grade, and I don't know if we should have 5th graders on the same bus as us. Oh, man. Yeah, it's a weird world out there, man.
Jesus
They're
Christ.
putting shit in the milk, I'll tell you. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah. 5th grade, I was in middle school, and we went home after. Honestly, I don't even remember watching it. I don't think they showed us.
Dude, they wheeled the TV, and I'm like,
yeah,
what
they did that to all the older kids. Yeah, they took them
Yeah.
down to the gymnasium and put them put the TV in there, gymnasium. You know what I don't understand? They had to wait to figure out what the fuck to do. You know, it's like when JFK got blasted, everybody just went home. My history teacher, Mr. Orgala, told me that. He's like, they just sent us home. I remember seeing it on TV that the president was killed. But when planes were flying in the buildings, they sat us all down and were like, you know, should we send them home, give them lunch? What do we do? Now, granted, I know parents probably weren't. Then again, we were latchkey kids. They didn't give a fuck if anybody was home. They just dropped us off and drove away. Could go home, be cooking up crack, and the school bus driver wouldn't
literally can't get into the house. The fucking door's locked. Yep. Have a nice day, Timmy.
Dude, if I'm not here if I'm a minute late, I'm getting called by the school. Hey, the bus driver's outside your house. I'm like, just fucking leave her. What? Just leave her. I'm on my way. I don't know what you want from me. I have to work. I fucking have to work. I'm sorry.
I'd be curious to see how this actually happened. Like, was there a phone call that happened to all schools that said, hey, play this for children? Because it's weird that everybody individually would come up with the idea to play this for kids.
Yeah, I don't know how this is a good idea.
Oh, everybody watch this. This is history.
History. It's fucking traumatizing. Just watch 4,000 people fucking die.
Can you imagine being a kid like in school back in the day and like D-Day was happening? Like, everybody watch this.
Fucking guy's got no arm. I love that shot in Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, the guy's walking around with his arm. Well, we did. See, that's the thing. We did. But you remember, they'd have to be like, look, we're going to give you a little sheet of paper and send it to your house. We had a book, David, actually. It was called Looking for Alaska. Do you know about this book?
No.
Okay. You might, if you want, you can pull up the YouTube video. The author actually wrote a YouTube video about this. This is how in freedom I am, David. I fought to read a book about blowjobs in high school, back in high school. You know, I'm a freedom warrior.
Is that what this is about?
I swear to God. The book is called Looking for Alaska. Pull it up. It's a great book, actually. It's a coming-of-age novel that they recommend that you read when you're in, like, middle and late high school, even probably, like, early high school. It's a story about a bunch of kids finding themselves, and they experiment with drinking and smoking and underage sex and driving drunk, and it's shit we did, you know, for a lack of a better term. But what happened was, in the book, the guy was describing a scene about a guy. Yep, that's the book right there. I don't know if you want to just pull up a synopsis of it too after this, we can read like a summary. So yeah, they won that little gold award, which is like the Pulitzer Prize or whatever, right? As one of like coming age novel. Anyways, we read it because there's scenes in there about the coming of age stuff, but there was a scene in there that was going to do like a blowjob or something, and like in the book it's awkward and they laugh, and it's not like what you're thinking. Like, it's not like she put my dick in my mouth. It's not 50 Shades of Grey. It's more about like, it's clunky, for lack of a better term. I encourage everybody to just maybe go pull it up and read it at this point.
Gone? Back.
Yeah, you're gone. So yeah, what happened was, my school, we were in, I believe this was 9th. It was either 9th or 10th grade. And my school, because of the concept in the book, they printed off a sheet of paper and it was a permission slip, and you had to take it home and get signed by your parent. And in the permission slip, it informed the parent that there is some adult themes in the book. And this is obviously, David, because we weren't 18, right? Isn't this funny now that we can tell kids to chop their dicks off?
They did a Hulu series on this.
Okay. Yeah, the girl actually dies in a car crash, and like one of the characters, I think, loves her, and they're trying to because the girl basically is self-destruct. This is so weird. Maybe that's why I like self-destructive women, David. I read all these books. This girl is self-destructive, and there's a line in there that she says, most of you guys smoke to smoke, but I'm smoking to die. and she ends up dying in like a car crash when she's drunk or something. And I think she like swerved and hit a tree. And the whole point of the book is it's kind of like open ended. And I'm pretty sure my teacher made us write an essay about it, and we had to decide whether or not if she chose to like kill herself or if it was just an accident. And then that was like the whole purpose of this book as a young person, is to like decipher these traumas. And now granted, I'm far more sophisticated with my thinking, so it's easier to say this. I didn't know this when I was reading this book, you know what I mean? But I understand now the concepts of this coming of age idea of when you read these books as young people. The point is, they released a permission slip about a blowjob scene, and I took it home. Everybody in my school, it was like 100, like in my class, it was hundreds of kids. So it was like, you know, if my classroom size was like 120 kids were reading the book, everybody's parent signed the permission slip. Okay, 100% of the student body's parents agreed.
Not one parent was like, I don't know about blowies in school.
Yeah, not one of them. Everybody agreed to it. But what happened was another parent whose kid was in what is it, honor roll? Do they call it, or gifted and talented? What the fuck was it? AP. That was it. Advanced placement. AP English or something. They heard about the book and brought it home to their parent and was like, yo, they're talking about sex, or the parent, however it happened. But it was somebody outside of the class that was going to read it. It wasn't even one of the parents that signed the permission slip. All of our parents agreed. And I only know this, David, because I went to all the student body council meetings about this. I went down there for my participation in government class. And I went to the debates at my high school. I went down there and I listened to all the talk. The board of education was there and fucking everything. And somebody that sat on the boards was one of our dads of my classmates. Anyways, so what happened was they were trying to tell us that we can't read this book because it has underage themes in there. Now, once again, this is funny because we now are in the era that we're cutting dicks off kids. But when I was a kid, I couldn't read a book about a shitty blowjob without pain. This is a true story. There's like,
hold on. Was it described in the book as a shitty blowjob?
I'm going to have you pull up the YouTube video after this, actually, because the name of the YouTube video actually will summarize it perfectly. But so my whole class, we all went down there. I don't know. There was like 20 of us at there. And we said, we want to read this fucking book. You can't tell us we can't read it. All of our parents agreed. And you know what happened, David? The school let us read the book. Now, there's a YouTube video called I Am Not a Pornographer. And if you pull it up, yeah, if you pull it up, I Am Not a Pornographer. If you put it on, it's actually posted by the author, and he describes exactly this. And if you go to my school to this day, there's actually a plaque on the wall of that year that my class basically, it was something like a freedom award that we fought, my student base fought to read a book that we weren't allowed. But the guy wrote.
Wait, hold on. So the YouTube is called I'm Not a Pornographer?
Yeah, I'm Not a Pornographer.
Oh, wow. Looking for Alaska is about to be taught to the 11th grade English students at DPU High School. He's separated DPU outside of Buffalo, New York. Interesting.
For the record, I'll just even go further talking about freedom. Now that I think about it, I took a public speaking class at that school in 12th grade. And one of my we had a debate about if you could drug test kids because of steroids, like athletes. And there was two sides. And one side was that you should be able to drug test kids because you don't have privacy rights at school. And then the other side was that you can't even go in my locker because I have privacy. And I was on the side of privacy. Obviously, I got the pick. But
just so wild. Okay, so this is the video.
Yeah. How old is this? This is an old video, right? Like 11 years by now, 12 years. Like when was this published? This actual video published?
16 years ago.
There you go. I graduated 2009, so 11th grade.
Wild.
Yep.
Good morning, Hank. It's Wednesday, January 30th, and today's video comes to you in one part. Part 1. I am not a pornographer. Hank, you may remember that almost 3 years ago, my first novel,
This is
Looking
the
for
author,
Alaska,
though.
was published.
Yes.
I just found out that Looking for Alaska is about to be taught to 11th grade English students at Depew High School outside of Buffalo, New York. Alaska is taught in a lot of English classes around the country, but it's still pretty awesome to hear that someone is going to like teach your book in a regular English class and people are going to read it closely and think hard about it. So here's what happened. Because there are a few scenes in Looking for Alaska that some people find controversial, the Depew High School administrators and English teachers got together and they wrote a letter saying, we're going to teach this book. We think it's pretty good. If you're okay with your kid being taught this book, please sign this permission slip. Otherwise, the kid will read some other book. So parents who are cool with their kids reading Looking for Alaska get to have their kids read Looking for Alaska, and parents who aren't cool with it get to have their kids read some other book. But there were a few people who weren't happy with this solution. These people didn't actually have kids who were in the 11th grade, but no matter. They think that my book is pornographic and that it will cause immoral thoughts and actions in children. These people believe that no one should be allowed to read the book, even those people whose parents sign the permission slip.
This is literally canceling and political correctness before there was actual terms for it. Literal cultural Marxism.
Is this banning books, right?
This is literally this fucking. So once again, people,
it must have been all the.
I don't want to hear a fucking word. I had to fucking fight to read a goddamn book in 11th grade. Okay, I don't want to hear from anybody. You're all wrong and tyrants. Fuck you. Sorry.
To be fair, when you were describing this originally, I didn't realize you were in 11th grade. That's plenty old enough to know about blowjobs.
Yes, and that's the thing. Actually, like at full transparency, I was still a virgin when I read this book. I never even like kissed a girl. You know, like I barely experimented with drugs and alcohol. Not that we should do any of this. I'm just saying we grew up in a different time than kids now. That's why they wrote fucking books like this. So we can read them. Fucking assholes, dude. Pisses me off. But my friends that I went to, they were all older, more experienced, especially with girls. My best friend growing up, fucking probably whatever. I'm not gonna air his air on the internet, but he was the experienced one of us. So I would go to him like, yo, dude, what the fuck am I doing? You know, like when you ask girls out to prom and all this shit. That was like the dude I'd go to for advice because he got laid. You know, he kissed girls. He had girlfriends. And he told me when he went to this book, he actually went to the part before we read it because it's deep in the book. It's like 2/3 through the book, you know? It's not like it's the first page, David. Blowjobs fucking right away. He said everything that is in this book I have experienced firsthand in real life. So it's a very coming of age thing. But yeah, keep going. Fucking this is great. I love this guy.
Now, Hank, it's no secret that I could be about me, but to lead teenagers is pornography, you start to feel a little bit mad. I don't know exactly what it is that bothers me about that characterization. I mean, it's not the ography. I wouldn't mind if someone was like, we must get this book out of our classrooms. It's full of geography. Or, no teenager should ever have to read this disgusting work of lexicography. No, Hank, it's not the ography that bothers me. It's the porn. Pornography is designed to titillate. Hank, I don't think there's a single halfway normal person in the world who would find a single thing in my book in any way arousing. There is one very frank sex scene. It is awkward, unfun, disastrous, and wholly unerotic. Hank, the whole reason that scene in question exists in Looking for Alaska is because I wanted to draw a contrast between that scene when there's a lot of physical intimacy, but it's ultimately very emotionally empty, and the scene that immediately follows it when there's not a serious physical interaction, but there's this intense emotional connection. The argument here is that physical intimacy can never stand in for emotional closeness, and that when teenagers attempt to conflate these ideas, it inevitably fails. Hank, it doesn't take a deeply critical understanding of literature to realize that Looking for Alaska is arguing against vapid physical interactions, not for them. Now, Hank, some people are going to say that kids don't have the critical sophistication when they're reading to understand that. And I have a message for those people. Shut up and stop condescending to teenagers. Do you seriously think that teenagers aren't able to read critically? When they read George Orwell's Animal Farm, do they head out to the pig farms to kill all the pigs because they're about to become communist autocrats? And they read Huck Finn, do they think Huck should turn him in into bidding for Godot? Do they think it's cool to just sit around and do nothing? Well, probably they do, actually. That one doesn't really work toward my point. Now, obviously, Hank, I don't think that a few parents should get to decide what the kids of other parents read in school. Those qualified sign on that permission slip as they see. And to speak frankly, Hank, all this is not groups, banners try to take over America's public school systems. Unfortunately, the Pew used to teach it and for the right of parents to choose to have it to their kids. Sometimes these people who make stands for intellectual freedom can feel like they're going it alone. This is why I'd like to ask from the bottom of my heart that any nerd fighters who live in or around Depew go to the school board meeting on February 5th. Info in the sidebar. Also, I've written a letter in defense of the teachers who'd like to teach my book. If you'd like to write a letter, send it to sparksflyup@gmail.com and I'll be sure to forward it on. Hank, thanks to you and all the nerd fighters in advance for your emails.
Oh, that's wild.
And we won. I got to read that fucking book. I bought the book. I have the book. It might be on my shelf, actually, now that I think about it. And there's a plaque at my school because we kicked ass on tyrants, even when it came to you telling me what the fuck I can read at, the fuck was I, 14?
Wild.
Yeah, awesome. This is awesome. Last thing, because that's it, right?
Yeah.
Go to TikTok, goddammit. I don't give a fuck if you got more views than me, David. Pull up my TikTok, you motherfucker. Show you the quality content motherfuckers producing out there. Can't keep up on the streets anymore.
How the fuck?
Just do it. Just do it.
I'm
TikTok.com.
supposed to just pull up your TikTok.
And then you search _Wallace Wayne, and I'll be there.
Okay. Come on. Search. No, not. God damn it. Shit's playing already. Wallace Wayne. Okay. Wallace Wayne. I'm there. Hold on.
Should be the second video.
Should it be, though?
Pull it up.
Right. I feel like you're trying to.
Yeah, the second one.
Win here.
The second one.
This one?
Yeah. Here you go. It's quality content I'm dropping. Ain't nobody got this shit.
Taking a napping because I'm sleeping when I'm walking. Gotta wrap my days into my wallet sees they profit because I'm feeling like a prophet because I'm always wording robbing. I can't believe the option. I'm just caught in all the top of leads. I gotta caught the means. I can't believe the probability because this mathematical equation that you're pushing ain't adding up to nothing. But I'm smashing like I'm holding all of these loose dreams and all these false hopes that you sold me so long ago. I sold the oats. I know when you broke the blade. I gotta take the things. I
don't want to pause because it feels weird to pause. Is this true freestyle? Did you write this, or did you just fucking start using words?
What did I say, David? Yo, it's 4:10 in the morning. I haven't slept yet. This is live. We do it live, David. They're live.
People lie in rap music all the time.
No, they're live. Now, look, there's no true freestyles, David, because I have taken these words in my head or on paper and I've manipulated them. I've said the sold the oats before. I've used these statements in the podcast. Like some of these are metaphors and myths and shit I've hammered out in different situations. But as far as putting them all together the way you hear them, no, this is unique, one of a kind. I've never done it this way. These aren't like, I didn't think I was going to rap this day. No, this is true artistry.
Actual freestyle always impresses me because
this is actual freestyle.
There's no way I could think of this many words.
I actually keep on beat this whole first, like even if you go back a bit, like when the beat drops, like, and there's metaphors, everything.
I know when I'm lost behind the moon fight. Me every day with the face I can't face, blinded by the rage that I elaborate, cause I'm looking in the caves, gotta take all the crevices, is looking at the books, cause they bind with my presence. I ain't even worried, cause they treasures. I know that my past and my heart of gold slowly turn to stone, so I gotta take it back.
I stumbled there because it is freestyle.
What is elaboration? But I take the devastation.
Like, this is okay, but to me, I fell off here. But even though it's still okay, this is like mid, right? For me personally, that's why I had to go back and then
I'll
catch
still
it.
Bring you all the flower every day that you die on the anniversary. Looking in my eyes, I watch the last hope that I have fall down, cause it's like the tear is all swallowed up with the same old blame and all the same old imitation. Looking at the lines and the symmetry, knowing that it is me, cause I probability and all the fulfillment I call the casualty. I gotta cast it down cause it's eating on my face. That's in all the things that I wish I could change, but I'm gone behind the rage. It's all the fucking K, cause I blame it on the enemy. Yo. I blame it on the enemy. I'm hiding mask continually. I never thought the enemy. I never thought I'd ever see a different kind of side of me. I'm flipping like the coins. Guess I'm really two-faced, not fucking Bruce Wayne. Maybe I take all the hate. Maybe I elaborate. Maybe I just cut all the strings, watch it float away. I don't give a fuck, cause I'm caught in all the solemn shame. Maybe I can die a million times just to resurrect my life in a different symmetry. Yo, I saw me. I gotta be a bitter being. Never thought I'd have to cast it all the way like a weighted stone. Knowing when the cast is mine just to hold. Knowing that the mold is mine to break. Wallace Wayne. Robbie Drake.
What the fuck is that?
Let's go.
Yo, it's 410.
Let's
I
go. Let's go. Fucking
will not
lyrical,
be
goddamn
seeing-
miracle.
You will not be seeing freestyle from me.
Fucking lyrical miracle, goddammit. Everybody can get the
I would
fuck out
be-
the way.
I would be a ghostwriter if I was anything.
Fucking
Maybe
get the
I am.
Get
Maybe
the
I'm a ghostwriter.
fuck out of my way, goddammit. The fuck out of my way. Oh, I didn't plan to do this. Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry. What'd you think? What'd you think?
I can't do that. It's solid. Like I was saying, I find true actual freestyle I think is impressive. And not that it's not. I don't know if I should say it that way because that makes it sound like I think hip hop is not impressive if you have to write it down first. But there's
Well, that's
like
the
an
performance
extra
side of it, you know.
Yeah, there's just an extra layer to the fact that people can. And throughout history, there's been a very small handful, if I'm honest, of very good freestylers. It's a small handful. And then there's a bunch of really good ones. But like some of the elites can just I just don't know how they fucking do it, to be honest with you.
Rap for hours, man. Well, it's practice, you know, I think the first time I ever like wrote a rhyme was, and I mean I'm not meaning like a practice, right? Like actually sat down to like write hip hop style words was 2012. And I rapped in my car almost every day for like the last 6 years. I've gone through various iterations. I used to just write to music. I just put instrumentals on and write to that. I would do it on my phone. This, David, full circle. It's actually the reason that I started writing and rhyming like this was so that I wasn't on Facebook, David. I remember when we first met that we were like, yeah, everybody just is on the fucking Facebook all the time. I'm trying to break it, right? That's why I started listening to podcasts, was so that I wasn't just doom scrolling didn't exist. Once again, the term didn't even exist. Brain rot didn't exist. So back then, and I only knew that because Alex told me about it. Like I didn't fucking think of this shit. It was the thought was given to me by somebody better. That's fine. But it made me like, I literally created my own art form for myself by just, and I kept it to myself for a lot of things. Like, you know, most of it is I just didn't think it was good enough to share, which is fucking stupid. It's only now that I'm older and more, you know, secure in yourself or whatever. But yeah, like, you know, I've been doing that for like 10 years, you know, and it's actually funny because, you know, I love hip hop, man. And, you know, it's probably saved my life. You know, like one of the things I've been doing longer than anything is rapping, you know, like really like even following hip hop music and rapping. I remember rapping to Eminem at 9 years old, 10 years old to like cassette tapes. I didn't even touch my dick yet. It's like literally my first addiction was rapping in video games. And the only thing I do now today, as far as addictions I still have, is I rap. I rap every day. That was literally 4:10 in the morning. I didn't sleep. I worked 2 jobs that day. I'm driving around with my buddy when he's door dashing. That's a true story. I swear to God. That's hip hop. That's fucking true hip hop. I'm not even saying that. Like this is, you know, you guys have seen my journey about God and the universe and spirit. A lot of that shit came in those moments of flow state that you've seen on that camera. You know, and I tell you people, and I tell my family, I tell the friends that I allow to see that shit, we all have a door like that. That flow door is there. You have to find a way. For me, you know, David, we've always kind of joked how I'm a kind of psycho that I can like drive and have a podcast on. It's almost like I need to distract myself to get in flow, right? But that's the thing I figured out. Maybe I do need to do 2 things because my mind is actually now distracting my body. So now I can just think, and I like doing, and that could be various things. I know I'm kind of rambling here, but Yeah, I just think Dave, you always told me the car videos were relatable, you know, and that's why they did so well on Facebook when I first started like talking politics and stuff. And now that I'm in, you know, everybody goes through phases of life, but you know, I have probably 50 of those videos on my phone that I haven't posted, or I have, you know, hundreds of them from years and years ago, but I've been really trying to, the TikTok, man, I'm not going to lie to you, kind of fucked me up in the middle of the week last week to keep up posting and, you know, and then the inauguration and weather. So, you know, I fell off on, Dave beat me on January, but excuse me, my goal is to continually post these videos like this, because I'll level with you. I don't know how many people keep up with that. Like I really don't. Like, you know, and I can come back, I can get better bars, I can sit down, I can write on a pad, I can compose music, I could try to write real rap songs. But dude, there is something about just rapping your ass off, driving around in this. It's only expressed as flow state. There's no other. You're literally watching like what Pat Mahomes is going to try to do and Josh Allen are trying to do today when they're locked in. You watch me lock into like a lyrical exercise. And everybody has something that they're good at like that. And mine just all plugs into each other. It all comes around communication, all comes around like the instrument of voice, which is fine. But yeah, I just appreciate you for allowing me to share, and just because I actually think that might be one of the best recordings I've ever done. And that's an 8 out of 10 for me as far as killing it. You know, and you know, my alias is Wallace Wayne, right, David? Right?
Mhm.
Like it comes from William Wallace, the warrior of freedom, and then Bruce Wayne, which is Batman. I always joke on Batman, but even in the bars, like my light is glancing up at the stars or however it is. That's the bat signal, right? And I'm facing the moon. I'm facing something I can't face. The moon has faces that you can't face. I hide my mat. Like I actually have real metaphors and real bars, and I built it around like an alter ego, like true art is supposed to be. And I'm just having a blast. Honestly, I'm having a blast. My buddy picking me up, his name's Robbie. You know, I've never really rapped in front of people before. I know, Dave, you've seen a couple of my videos I've put in like some of these private chats that I've had and shared a little
Mhm.
bit with people that I'm more comfortable with. But, you know, I'm at the day and age now. I just got to uncloak everything and just put it all out. Cause I don't know. I think I'm not trying to monetize it if it gets monetized, Dave, just like the pod, right? The reason I do it is not to make money. But it's kind of like the pod that I have all of this. I'm doing all of this stuff, all this. I think that's amazing. Right. I'm not ego saying, like you said, Dave, there's very few people that can even do that. And for me to not do it and not share it would be foolish, because in the grand scheme of things, it's actually cool. It's a great art form. And I'm like holding it in for whatever reason. I was like waiting, like, oh, I got to wait till everything's right. What are you waiting for? Just fucking do it, dude. You know, like just do it. And, yeah, I just think I'm at the point now that like it's all coming bare. I'm just laying everything down. I got nothing left to hide. You know, I got nothing left to burn out. The Phoenix. This is like I'm at Phoenix day one. Everything's been burned. I got nothing but scraps left. And the only thing I really got left is like a few solid things. And it's the pod. It's my art form. It's rapping. It's small bits of my family. And that's it. You know, and I'm just locking into it. And that's actually why I started the TikTok thing, Dave. You know, it's because I guess with the rap stuff in particular, I have a buddy that same guy. He's gonna try to do like a show here at a bar local, and I'm not saying I'm gonna get up there and fucking Eminem it, but he's gonna. There's places and there's venues and there's access, and I don't know. This is just like, at least for me right now in this spot I'm in my life, this is a really fun creative space for me, and I'm just really having a really awesome time, just like shedding the layers, you know. And you know, David, and the other thing, and then I'll get out of here. The main reason I even started like doing the art form was, you know, and I still get it to this day, is people couldn't handle my opinions or whatever. And I truly feel, I'm serious, like my family, people closest to, and this is probably mostly a me problem, right? Like maybe I need to be better talking, or, you know, be more understanding or more patient. Maybe I have stuff to work on. That's fine. But I always feel like people just don't like what I say, and they try to reinterpret it, or they try to like, well, or they get hung up on something. And I came to the realization that if I just put it in a rap song, there ain't shit you can fucking say. Like I'm at the level now that the only way that I feel like I should or even want to express myself is through some avenue like that can't be reinterpreted, because I'm so tired of people just taking the shit I say or the things in my life, they rip it apart, and now they have like this skeleton of the thing that it was. It's not actually a real representation of what I said or what I stand for or how I live my life. And it's things, and I'm at the point in my life that the only way that you'll even know who I really am is to see me in moments like that. So I'm shedding it all bare because I'm tired of misinterpretations and misrepresentations. And the only way to do that is to represent yourself better than the opposition. So until then, Dave Ryan, December 1773. Catch us on Rumble for the greatest podcast in all of human history to dismantle global government, even with all of their trillions of dollars and military psyop technology. I cannot wait for Trump to just sign that pen away. And hey, once again, if we're wrong, great. Unzip the thing. But until then, we're going to enjoy this one. Dave, good job getting our boy in there. Go America. I don't know what else. And yeah, stay to that TikTok. I'm going to wrap my ass off. So I'll catch you guys later. As always, David, I appreciate you most for your time. And I'll see everybody later. Oh,
Thanks, everyone.
Go Bills, dude. I'm scared.
I'm not. I'm weirdly not.
Is it because of the Ravens last week? Was the big one?
It was. The fact that they handled the Ravens, not easily, but they did exactly what they were supposed to do. It's like,
I heard the stat this morning that there's only one quarterback in the history of playoffs that has gone down and either won the game or tied it with a field goal to go to overtime in the last 2-minute drive. And it's Pat Mahomes. He's 7 for 7.
He is the king of being clutch. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's
so
no
basically,
doubt.
the only way the Bills win is by beating them by more than one score before you give them the ball back. Like they did.
You have to consistently kick the shit out of them all game long, and you cannot take the foot off the gas.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, I've followed some things during the week. We're in the point now. If Bills win this, they're going to the bowl. This is gonna be fucking crazy, though, dude. So yeah, game's on at 6:30. I'll be watching, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. Either way, Dave Ryan, December 1773. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ryan.
Fucking Trump. Let's go. Later, bud. Thanks.